58-7 yesterday. Biggest loss for Pitt since 1996 against, guess who? Yes, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So all of this, 58 points despite two early interceptions from Sam Hartman. One of those passes probably should have never been thrown. The other one was tipped. Still kind of questionable. I didn't really feel like the one that was tipped was open from where I was sitting, and I was honestly sitting kind of high up in the stands, but it didn't look open to me. So I didn't really fully understand it. Also missing Benjamin Morrison yesterday, right? And missing Mitch Evans for almost half of the game. We still came through with the blowout type of game that we needed to stay relevant going into a New Year's Six Bowl. Now, am I surprised that we only moved up to 12 after two teams in front of us lost? No, I'm not. That's going to be the way it's going to continue to go. Teams in front of us are going to lose. We're going to move up. We don't have any more ranked opponents to play, so we don't have a chance to jump anybody. We have to just continue to play really well and keep people from jumping us. We have to show everyone else that we are, in fact, the top 10 football team in the country that we know that we are. And really, I mean, we ought to be undefeated. With the amount of talent that we have on the football team, we lost to Ohio State because we didn't have enough guys on the field, and I don't know what happened with Louisville. No heart, something. I don't know what it was. Louisville just hated us more than we hated them, apparently. I can't even begin to tell you what happened there. We talked about it. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Obviously disappointing. The play calling was pretty terrible. I still think with the amount of skill and talent that we have on this football team that we should have won that game. Until we got to the point where we were making desperate play calling decisions in order to try to come back in a game that should have never gotten out of hand that way. And it was a few plays from going the other way. It was just a few small plays from going the other way. But here we are. All right, so let's talk what we did yesterday. Xavier Watts, he had himself a game. 3 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 2 interceptions. That's 2 back-to-back games with 2 interceptions for Xavier Watts. They're not throwing over his direction very often. They're trying to stay away from him, and they're trying to stay away from Benjamin Morrison right now. And you can't stay away from both of them if they're both on the field. You really just have no choice. Our secondary played lights out yesterday. Chris Tyree on the offensive side of the ball, yes, coming from the former running back position to a wide receiver, three receptions as a wide receiver for 62 yards and a beautiful punt return in which he made 2 guys miss. Both of those guys should have tackled him on that punt return. They were the first 2 downfield. They were the first 2 to cover him. Made the first guy miss, ducked under the second one, and just ran through everybody else. That was gorgeous. Let's also talk about Steve Angeli, because Steve Angeli played all of the fourth quarter yesterday, except for victory formation. He was 6 for 7 yesterday, and he had himself another beautiful touchdown pass. Rolling left, throwing against his body, drops a 19-yard dime on Cooper Flanagan for a touchdown. I could watch that play over and over again all day. If anybody thinks, even for a second, that he doesn't have a real chance to be a starter next year, you need to watch more of what Steve Angeli did yesterday. Go back and watch that play again, because he's got some talent. Are we going to bring somebody in? Are we going to go to the recruiting portal? Of course we are. But does that mean that he's not going to make a legitimate bid? He's ready. Okay? Let's keep the competition going, though, in the quarterback room, because if we don't do that, we end up in a bad situation. So I love it. I love to see it. I think we're going to continue to see great things from him. And honestly, I would not be surprised if he's our starter next year, unless we end up bringing in somebody that's just a ton better. Audric Estime yesterday had another 100 rushing yard game, which, I kind of want to say it's about time. I know that he hasn't really had the kind of opportunities the last few games, but great game from him yesterday. 3 rushing touchdowns. It was a beautiful thing to kind of see him back and healthy and doing the things that he needed to be doing. And that's kind of key, right? We played some good teams, but he was hurt a little bit through some of that. So yesterday you could tell he was out there, he was healthy, he was playing at 100%, And that bye week, I think, really helped kind of get him back and get him ready to go in there and play a good football game. We had a 380 total yards through the air yesterday. Now, Sam Hartman didn't throw for any touchdowns yesterday, and that's okay. We played the football game that we needed to play in order to win. We put 58 points on the board. And a lot of that was because our defense and our special teams did what they were supposed to do in order to make that happen. Defense scored, and special teams both scored points yesterday. We had a punt return, a fumble return for a touchdown, and an interception return for a touchdown. Speaking of, Jaden Mickey, third quarter, yes, 43-yard interception return for a touchdown. Congratulations, young man. And Christian Gray got himself another interception yesterday. We had 4 interceptions. We had 5 forced turnovers yesterday. Okay, maybe we can't call one a forced turnover, but it was a special teams turnover. And it's not guaranteed when somebody muffs a punt that you're going to pick it up, as we've seen many times this season, right? We've had somebody muff a punt right there where one of our guys could have jumped on it, and we didn't. So how good is Notre Dame's defense? Pitt was held to 53 total rushing yards yesterday. 53 total rushing yards. They had 1 score yesterday against the second and third string defense. They never actually ran a play from the red zone despite that 1 score. 0 times in the red zone yesterday. So that 75-yard scoring drive that they had, it was a 50-yard pass and a 25-yard pass that they ended up scoring on against a second and third string defense. Against our third string corners. The furthest other than that they got into our territory was to the 25-yard line, where they missed a field goal. And before that, it was to the 33-yard line, where they went forward on 4th and 2 before committing a false start penalty because Notre Dame showed blitz. And when the linebacker showed blitz, they committed a false start penalty. I just want to quickly run down the list of Pitt's drives because I think it doesn't show it doesn't show Pitt being bad as much as I think it shows how good Notre Dame's defense is. Drive number 1, 3 plays, 7 yards. Drive number 2, 3 plays, 6 yards. Drive number 3, 5 plays, 19 yards. Number 4, 5 plays, 4 yards. 9 plays for 48 yards for the missed field goal. 3 plays for 4 yards, intercepted. 5 plays for 18 yards. 3 plays for 6 yards. 2 plays for 1 yard, intercepted. A 3-play, 2-yard punt. A 3-play, negative 2-yard, 4 and out or 3 and out punt. A 4 plays for 37 yards. The 3-play for 75-yard touchdown. And a 4 play for 7 and then 4 plays for 17 yards. That's a lot of punting the football, and that's a lot of interceptions. Our defense is really good. We got Wake Forest next week. I think we can do the same thing to them. It's home. It's senior day. We got to get it done. We'll cover that game a little bit later this week. In the meantime, I love y'all. God bless. Go Irish. Thanks for being here. And if you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And by the way, check out Midnight Energy. Use code GIGS for 10% off for all your energy drink needs. Thank you so much. Have a great day.